Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if we can get. There we go. Since I'm all solo this week, I'm going to try a different setup. And this will also be close to what I end up shooting when I do the recorded episodes. So hopefully you get used to this. And then if you like it, maybe we'll keep it up. And even when I join back with Steve and or Imminent Doom and Ace Trainer Jerry, hopefully this will still be the setup. So maybe you'll see their faces floating around me as I'm doing the show. And yeah, this is what you'll get on State of the Nerd Union whenever we record throughout the week. So I am Commander Ship, going again, like I said, going solo tonight. And yeah, let's get through the news in a fun way. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them into the chat. And on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, I can hit you up and see you on either one. So we can definitely have a chat as I'm going through the news. And we're going to start off with our quick hits. And let me make sure I am good to go. Yeah. Sure, good to go. Yeah. So this week on State of the Nerd Union, we're going to be talking about the dark web and almost 1.5 million cards that NordVPN did on a survey report talking about cards that have been compromised, something you should be aware of. On top of that, there's a really big sale going on with Amazon and Target. We'll talk about that also a little bit. Hocus Pocus 2 has wrapped filming. We'll talk about what its release date is going to mean. On top of it, we may have the first gaming union forming over at Raven Studios, the playtesters there who primarily test Call of Duty, Overwatch, and a lot of your Activision games. They're the ones that are responsible for that. So there's a really great interview done by Slate Magazine. Definitely recommend folks go check it out. But we'll talk about some of the highlights that come from that. So all that's going to start on the show right now. Here's where our little musical break will eventually come when we get the graphics. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All right. So I'm Commander Ship. Glad to see you all tonight. Again, I don't have Imminent Doom X with me or Ace Trainer Jerry, so it's just gonna be me all tonight. And we're gonna start with the quick hits. We got two. One's a really big sale that happened over the weekend and is continuing today, and one that just started today with Amazon. Amazon just started a buy two get one free deal today, and if you're looking at possibly getting some of the new Pokemon games or Metroid Dread, those are included. So the buy two get one is not just on older games or ones that have been out for a couple months. Like this is actually because Pokemon Legends Arceus just came out last week. So if you want to possibly snag that one, get two more Switch games, get one of them for free, you can definitely do that. We don't get any sales from that from Amazon. We might end up doing an affiliate program here soon, but we don't get any credit for that. So we're just letting you know about that. Target also had a buy two, get one throughout the weekend. And this is not only video games. This can include books, DVDs, but we know a lot of folks on here are gamers. So that's what we'll do first. Target did one over the weekend. It was supposed to end on Sunday. They extended it to Monday. So you have until at least, from what we can tell, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, at least as far as we can tell. I don't know if that's going to be per location that you're in, but as far as we can tell, that's how long you have for the Target deal. Amazon started today. We did not get confirmation on when that will end. So possibly need to get in on that very, very soon. Cool. I teased that there was cards compromised, and this is not necessarily a new hack. This is just more of a report that NordVPN did about the dark web, saying we're able to track data of almost 1.5 million card details being out there. We're even able to work out the average of what scammers were paying to get those card details, amounting to $5.80, which when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, if you pay, so what that worked out to, $58 if you pay for like 10 cards. Yeah, $58 if you pay for 10 cards. If at least one of those hits and you recoup your money and get more than that, this risk proposition for them is pretty easy math for the scammer. So that is terrifyingly low. Not that it should be high, or sorry, not that there should be a price on your information anyway, but just it's terrifyingly how cheap that is. Cool. States that were hit hardest by this should probably be no surprise: California, Texas, and Florida, mainly probably due to population density. and not necessarily a lack of security measures on the states themselves. Though we are trying to figure that out. Next up, on that, the states that were hit the lowest were Alabama, see if I see my notes, Wyoming, and Washington State. So cool. That's your quick hit of news. And let's move into the Cinephile section where we're going to talk about Hocus Pocus 2. So producer Adam Shankman just gave an update over on their Instagram, doing a quote from the movie, like, sisters. Just like the Sanderson sisters would say, Bette Midler would say to her fellow sisters in Hocus Pocus, playing off of that, saying that filming has wrapped. So now they're going to move into post-production. And did a hashtag Halloween 2022. So we at least know that Hocus Pocus, the sequel, will be coming out sometime in October of this year. Although we don't know if it's going to be, if I had to guess, I don't think it'd be right on Halloween. So probably maybe at the start of the month, get some of that Halloween hype as you lead into Halloween, but again, that is just at least a general window. So we'll keep you abreast of that when something changes. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe. All right. Taryn actually got to talk about this on Friday, or I guess the show released, rundown released on Sunday, but Gotham Knights, which is a spin-off game. If you've played the Batman Arkham Asylum series all the way into Arkham Knights, and you know how that ends, I'll just leave it there. But if you haven't played that, this is going to pick up where Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, Batgirl jump in. Will something change on my prompts? Prompts? What do you mean? What do you mean? Dang it! Now I lost my thought. Taryn. Gotham Knights. Yeah. So Rocksteady was the game developer on this. We've talked about Rocksteady. We reported on this during DC's fandom event when they released that initial game trailer. So apparently the hype on that is so big that they're already going to do a CW show on it. And that makes a lot of sense. You've had Robin as a popular character, Nightwing, the Bat Family comic series, and the different versions of that. The Bat Family, Bat Incorporated. A lot of those are just really popular. You think about a lot of the fan comic strips based on the Bat Family. So it's really not surprising a lot of people are into Gotham Knights and would want to see a CW series on it. What we don't know at this time, though, is how is that going to interlink with the CW Arrowverse, whether Batman's actually going to show up, because if you've played if you played Arkham Knight, you know how that ends. I'll kind of leave that out for folks. Don't know how that's going to interact. On top of that, as we reported on Sunday, Titans is still on. Titans, I don't know if you know that, but Titans, it's got a Dick Grayson in that show. Now, granted, we don't know exactly what Earth that's considered. That started on DC Universe. DC Universe got it was already a Warner Brothers property, so they just moved it on HBO Max. So we don't know if that is going to stay separate in its own thing. Would they bring the Nightwing over from Titans into this show? Or would they just cast another Nightwing? They could also just throw him into another Earth, be like Earth 64, and that would be the one. No word yet if you have to play N64 games in that universe only. If Sony doesn't exist in that universe, who knows? Taryn says, I was riffing off of, we'll let you know when something changes, and then your prompts are updated. Talk to me later, because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Dun, dun, dun. Don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Could be I'm just in the zone trying to talk. I have no idea what Taryn's saying. I'm probably kicking myself to be like, oh, that's what you meant. So I apologize in advance, because that's probably what's going to happen. I can almost guarantee that's what's going to happen. All right. Give me one moment. Dun, 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 dun. Netflix's next anime adaptation, Bastard, I hope we won't get blocked on FCC airwaves for saying that one, will air in 2022. So the series will be jointly produced by Netflix and Linden Films, who had a hand in the recent Berserk adaptation, which Netflix also acquired and aired. The series follows protagonist Dark Schneider. That's an ancient wizard who's summoned inside the body of a 14-year-old boy in order to defend the kingdom. This article came from comicbook.com, and they rightfully noted that Netflix has been picking up some dark anime series. And yeah, they're right. These series have been a little darker as of late. So Berserk, if you've ever read Berserk or watched Berserk, it is not for children in it at all. Just it is negative. Nope. So it's interesting that Netflix has jumped onto this train. I'm not necessarily bothered by it, but it's just interesting they've gone. And it's not that all their anime is this, but just interesting they've gotten into this genre of anime. So Bastard will air sometime in 2022. Probably expect it in the fall. All right. And that's all for our Cinephile segment. So that gets us talking about TV and movies. If you like more TV and movie news, you can catch out our pre-recorded show, which the title, we've been having a really great conversation on the title this past weekend. I've been kind of crowdsourcing that title. I think we're close. So we'll see if we can get graphics and things ready by tomorrow. I don't know I doubt it'll be ready for tomorrow. So there will be an episode recorded and we'll do that, but I doubt it'll be ready for tomorrow. But movie and TV news will be back on. I'll be joined by my amazing co-host, Tom DeGrow. And we have some other folks getting ready to join us in the show or pop in and out. So I'm really excited about that. So it's going to be really good. So you'll still get movie and TV news. We're going to hopefully get more topics in there. You know, me and Tom did a whole DC Universe rewatch. We did a variety of different topics, but we got so news focused that we kind of shifted off of that. So our hope here is that we'll be able to get back to that event as the show progresses. So not State of Nerd Union, but for the TV and movie podcast show that, again, we'll get an episode out tomorrow and then hopefully update you on what the new title will be and get new graphics and stuff coming out very, very soon. All right. But that's all for movie and TV because it's time for game time. And Elder Scrolls has a new board game titled Betrayal of the Second Era. That is that seems like a very Elder Scrolls. Seems like a very Elder Scrolls name. So this was developed by Chip Theory Games, and the game will be played during the Plane Meld the Plane Meld event, which is when different planes of existence are trying to be brought together. I think his name was Prince Morag. Yes. I don't play Elder Scrolls that much. So if you know the lore better than I do, definitely feel free to correct me and throw that into the comments. Be like, no, it's actually. Hey, bonus points in the comments if you can tell me what the name of the different realms or different planes of existence are. So, because I got it in my notes, but kind of curious what you think. So, again, that board game is created by Chip Theory Games. A trailer for it just came out. It's supposed to include a robust character creation option inside the board game, along with being cooperative between 4 players. So you don't have to venture on your lonesome, which is always great. And then next up, all right. If you want to get Horizon Forbidden West for a little bit cheaper, about $10 cheaper, on your PlayStation, I recommend buying the PS4 version. Now, previously, Sony had said that if you bought the PS4 version of Horizon Forbidden West, you wouldn't be able to get the discount or the free upgrade to PS5. Sony had previously stated that every game coming out, primarily the games coming out for PS5 in 2022, would not have that as an option. They reversed course, but if you try to buy it in the PSN network or buy it on the PlayStation network, you'll still see the $59.99 and $69.99 prices for Forbidden West, respectively to PS4, PS5. If you buy it online, you'll see everything cheaper. Ergo, you can still get that PS4 version and get that PS5 upgrade for a little bit cheaper. So keep that in mind. Hey, we've given you a bunch of deals today. I like it. This was a news update, but it's also a deal. So pay attention to that. But yeah, you need to do it in your browser. You need to purchase it for a browser. Don't buy it on the PlayStation Network if you want to be able to get that $10 off. And that's all we got for game time. There are some great games coming out in the next couple weeks. So even though this week seems like it's probably going to be a little slower for game news, I'm totally expecting that we're about to get a bunch of drops. Sifu comes out tomorrow. We're already hearing a lot of great things. This is like this fantastic martial arts brawler coming out on the PlayStation and PC. So it comes out tomorrow, I guess midnight tonight, but it comes out tomorrow. A lot of people have already been early testing it. I don't know if we'll be able to get in and get a test of it, but we'll definitely let you know if that changes, and we'll push that out. But it looks really good. On top of that, let's see. Elden Ring is coming up soon. I know it got pushed back, but it'll be later in the month. On top of Destiny 2's new expansion, The Witch Queen, is coming out very soon, February 22nd. So keep your fingers crossed. There's gonna be a lot. There's a lot coming out. This month. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Now we're into our Check the Tech segment, and Apple is given at least in the new beta for iOS 15.4, you may be able to finally use Face ID using a mask. Although Apple will warn you, doing so comes at a security disadvantage. All right. So people that are currently beta testing 15.4 are seeing a prompt or an option to use Face ID without the mask. Now, we don't know if that prompt includes that information I just gave you about the security issue. Probably as you're setting that up, they'll probably give you that update of, hey, you can do this, but it's not going to be as secure. Mainly because if you're losing half of your face, for identification, again, a lot is taken from the eyes and the top of your face, but that it might be enough for someone to circumvent the Face ID. So it's definitely one of those. Maybe you're using it. I don't know. I don't know how I could suggest using that in a safe way, because the biggest thing about having Face ID or a fingerprint scanner is that if you were to lose your device, those are hard things to circumvent for anyone that wants to get into your device. But if you've given them an easier way into it, granted, there's not going to be a lot of people running around that look like you from the top, from mask up, just in the eyes. But there might be enough to fool the Face ID. So we'd have to see how robust this is just with the eyes up, and see how it goes from there. But interesting that they're at least providing that as an option. And it definitely says to me that Apple sees masks as possibly being something that's here to stay. Now, I know that probably when you hear that, you get a little like, you talking about the pandemic lasting forever? No, I just mean generally that wearing masks, especially during flu season and during colds, is a really good idea. So you might get mad at that. I understand a lot of people are weary of wearing them now. And the first instinct might be to just rip them off once the pandemic's over. But I think that might be a sign that the public has gotten used to it. And having an option available, already built into the iOS. And then as flu seasons come up again, or hopefully not another pandemic, but just like as flu seasons come during the winter, giving that option, or heck, even if you just have a scarf. You have a scarf on or you got a hood on or something during the winter, like that can be super useful. So the Spotify controversy with podcast host Joe Rogan has continued over on one of the biggest streamers, one of the biggest music streamers, podcast streamers, as they have deleted over 100 episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast after his multiple controversial interviews with the also controversial psychologist Jordan Peterson. Rogan issued an apology recently talking about the amount of work he wants to go into. I don't know if we're going to bring this up a lot on our site. It might be something I'll tackle later. I think people were right to be upset about the way that interview went. I don't know why people are surprised given the content of Rogan's podcast in the past. And yes, he can point to being mischaracterized in previous interviews, because something I would, again, not defending him, but something I would say is like he does end up bringing a lot of people. He brings a lot of people into the podcast. It's not just, and people will point to Peterson, but there's a wide range of spectrum of people that are brought onto that podcast. That said, he's got to be a better editor. And what I mean by editor is by editorial standards of who you're bringing on, the questions that you push back. The problem of his, if I had to put it in a nutshell, when you get a platform that large and you don't fact check anything, then the conversation might be very interesting and engaging for a lot of people that watch it, but what are you allowing to happen when you don't fact check or you don't push back against a question, or you push back against a premise that someone may bring onto your show. So he may have really great interviewing skills, and a lot of people, even folks that watch our channel, might like him. And I'm not really trying to get into crapping on him right now, but I think we could at least agree that editorial standards are not great on that podcast show. and for hundreds of millions of people watching it on YouTube and a variety of different outlets, that's a problem. So I do want to dig into which episodes were deleted, because over 100, that ain't all Jordan Peterson, and that wouldn't even be all the controversial people that have been on it. So it's kind of, is that all the Spotify episodes that have been uploaded so far? I don't know. We'll have to dive into that one just a little bit more. We got some comments. Maybe. If only Apple would go the next step and realize remote will be for a long time and let people. Yeah, that's a good point. Now I remember we reported on that a while back that they said they were going to do that, but I don't think that they've stuck to that. So I don't know. A nice cup of tea. You could probably tell me a lot better on that. But I know they said they were going to. I had not been able to do any follow-up on whether that was actually going to happen. And see, Taryn said, Nerd Union Home Shopping Edition. Hey, speaking of which, though, my room is not ready for anyone to see it, and promptly I will tease this episode that's going to come out. I am going to at least I'm going to at least do a video of what the apartment currently looks like and the different spaces I have set up, some of which I've never recorded in. Reason being is because I at least want people to know what the house looked like before we move. So in the next month or so, I should be moving to a new house. I'll show you the process of setting up the new Nerd Union studio there, which I think is going to be really cool. But I guess definitely would like to give you a comparison what space I was working in before. A lot of people have seen the backdrop. A lot of people haven't seen the other library games. A lot of people haven't seen the downstairs workshop where I process new games coming in, sell them out on eBay and stuff, trying to earn money for the site and stuff like that. So I will hopefully do that. That means I need to clean a bunch of stuff before starting to pack a bunch of stuff. So I got to find a window of time where it's perfectly tidy and I don't have a bunch of games coming in. So I will work on that. And I think it's gonna be really cool. Dun, 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 dun. It doesn't love me today. It doesn't love me. I just want to scroll. There we go. All right. There we go. Yeah, I know Jerry's going to make this look really nice and beautiful. All right, next up. How does Google Maps tackle review bombing? Plain and simple, they look for the one-star reviews. So if a particular restaurant or any kind of business or site suddenly sees an increase in one-star reviews, that triggers a review system inside of Google to let their human team know that they need to go and catch what's going on. And there's a certain amount of terms and buzzwords that will automatically flag a review. Doesn't mean that a review can't be posted. It's not that Google's trying to stop negative reviews from happening. They're just trying to stop review bombing. So if you legitimately post, hey, I was at this restaurant, didn't like the grits, didn't think the grits tasted that good, and the service wasn't that great. Now, what I couldn't figure out, and this is the interesting thing, and I suspect Google probably is doing this, but I don't know for sure, is any kind of geolocation. So if you have Google Maps on your phone and Google Maps, based on your Google Maps timeline, if it shows that you have never been anywhere near that restaurant, and then you post a review, I wonder if that's some of the criteria using to flag a potential comment for being fallacious. I don't know that for sure, so that's speculation on my part, but it would not surprise me if Google was using that information. On top of that, some buzzwords, so particularly like the word gay, if people were using that in a derogatory sense, the review system still flags and holds that so that a human reviewer can look at it and say they don't mean it in the context of, it might be in a supportive way if it's like a LGBTQ positive space or positive like cafe or something like that. So even though it might still get flagged, a human review will go in and try to adjust that and make sure review still gets posted in support of the restaurant and so on and so forth. So that's kind of an encouraging. Review bombing has been on the rise over the last 3 to 4 years, and we're going to follow that right into a current example that's happening on Yelp, where this is just getting completely out of hand. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Maybe. There we go. So Yelp, the popular restaurant review site, posted an annual report on their stats of businesses that have faced a number of reviews due to enforcing mask mandates. So the site took down over 15,000 reviews that were negative against businesses during the local mandates, the local lockdown, local mandate period, when it was the most stringent. And a lot of that has continued into the previous year. So this report was an update to the one they did in 2020. So what happened in 2020, a lot of people were trying to it turned into more review bombing in 2021. In 2020, it was just more of a couple vocal people trying to like crap on a business for not offering a certain amount of protections. But since so many people were in lockdown anyway, those numbers just weren't that high. In 2021, though, that number I just gave you, that 15,000 number of reviews, again, that was a shot out of the just exploded compared to what they'd done in 2020. So that amounted to a nearly 160% increase from the previous year, again, from the lockdown period. Yelp also had to monitor local news reports and/or odd activity in case people were review bombing in reaction to a news report or a restaurant standing their ground in support and enforcing a local mask mandate. So they would start to see a bunch of reviews certainly come up. And if a local news article had been posted on the internet, or maybe that restaurant had made the news for their mask mandate or enforcing it, the Yelp would use that in conjunction of, okay, these reviews that we're suddenly seeing automatically may not be correlated to people going to the actual restaurant. It might be people that just saw that news report and are suddenly dumping a bunch of one-star reviews on it. And kind of in the same way that Google used the one-star review as a flag, Yelp was doing the same thing. So if they saw a bunch of one-star reviews all of a sudden populate all of a sudden or immediately, also in conjunction with a news report, they just knew that those probably were not legitimate. Or especially they were looking for certain keywords and language that would help them know that they hadn't actually attended or eaten at the restaurant. So Yelp's got its problems, but I appreciate that they're going to bat for restaurants in that way, at least helping, especially restaurants that are getting already facing a lot of financial issues with the pandemic, trying to survive and trying to operate during mask mandates, and are then getting hit on the back end on the review system because people are upset that they're enforcing mask mandates. Whew, that was a mouthful. I'm really glad that Yelp is having their back in that way. Now, I don't know if the system is perfect because obviously if you're getting 15,000 reviews, there's still some issues there. And I guess I would like to see from business owners what kind of effects they've seen as that's happened. Like what kind of support do they feel has happened as that review system has gone in place. But this is a really good start. All right. And that's all we have for Check the Tech. And we're into our last segment. This is our main topic for the night. And thank you all for joining me. So again, I know I don't have Jumax, Steve, or Ace Trainer Jerry with me tonight, but hopefully I hope you all are enjoying the new format. We're definitely going to try to keep making some tweaks. And you'll be seeing more of my face during the week, hopefully, as we report more news, more things that are happening. And hopefully it'll be just like this. And you can check out the old figurines behind me, old Transformers and Power Rangers. Cool. Our main topic for tonight, play testing video games is really cool. I like doing it as a reviewer. It's not something I get to do a lot just because I'm more in the movie space. So my time is limited already from doing a full-time job, trying to do this, trying to focus on movies primarily. And then whatever time is left, I usually just want to stream games. So reviewing is kind of hard in that space. But when I've had time to do it, I really love doing it. But that is a completely different world than play testing. When I'm reviewing, I can just have fun, enjoy it, and think about what I did or didn't I can experience. A play tester has a lot bigger responsibility on them because they need to break the game. I mean, they have got to get in there and as this article on Slate referred to it as, did the grenade that I throw go the way that I expected it to go? That when I thought about how it gave me feedback on the controller, did it explode the way that I thought it was going to? If I shot a gun, if I made a jump, did it go the height that I was expecting? Did it stay consistent, a consistent height? There's some things that are just, it's more than just did hit pressing the button do the thing that we expected the button to do. Like, it's even more than that. Like consistency. You'd be surprised. You'd think, why would consistency be a thing that's actually a pretty big deal? Because if something doesn't work the same way across levels, that's a problem. That affects the gamer, affects the user experience. So it's a really big deal. And before I keep going, let me make sure I get to comments. Dun, 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 dun. And I apologize. I'm in this. I don't know if this format that I'm doing. The only problem is it makes it harder to see y'all's comments. So, oh, thank you. 1010 looks good. I appreciate it. Nice cup of tea. Do. Makes you feel good. It really makes me feel good. Maybe. I swear I'm trying. Thank you all for dealing with the technical difficulties. All right. All right. So what are we trying to say? So if playtesters getting paid $15 at a minimum wage really reeks of a lot of kind of calling it the same thing as flipping burgers and so on and so forth. And I'm like, one, people that are flipping burgers should get paid more than minimum wage. Like, whenever that argument, slight tangent, but whenever that argument gets made, people don't realize that the money that you're making right now is less than you should. Like, if you're picking on the person for making less than 15 or saying they shouldn't make 15 for flipping burgers, you're not making as much as you should. So just stop that. Like, I get that you have an idea of what the value of that should be in your head. And if you want to peg it on teenagers, sure, but teenagers don't make it the majority of the workforce for fast food restaurants. Oh my gosh. I know. That's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but restaurants are open from early in the morning until late at night. So tell me how the teenagers are working that job when they're in school. Yeah, that's. I've always hated that argument. It makes you take 2 seconds to think about it. It makes no sense. But anyway, I digress. I bring up minimum wage because that's what a lot of these playtesters are working. Some of them are working on. And if they are working, some of them are working in part-time, so maybe that wage might make sense. But for the people that are doing it full-time, maybe QA analysts within the company or senior QA analysts making a senior QA analyst making close to minimum wage. My brain just can't process, can't handle that. So yeah, just trying to get that in your head. Like, that does not track. That does not make sense. Reason I'm bringing that up, Raven Studios. Now, Raven Studios is a subsidiary of Activision, and primarily the playtesters in Raven are the ones that handle the playtesting for a lot of Activision's products. So like Blizzard games like Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and Call of Duty. So like the recent Call of Duty Vanguard that came out, this group of playtesters would have been there. Slate magazine has done a fantastic interview and write-up on this. So I don't really necessarily want to steal their thunder. Go check it out. It's a really great article. I think you'll love it. And also, if you want to come, I'll drop a thread in the Discord if you want to talk about it as it's happening. It's really cool. But the playtesters there are bringing up a number of grievances of Activision. And I think their timing is perfect. As they're being bought by Microsoft, you can put some pressure in that transition for Microsoft to, and again, it's not necessarily talking about Microsoft having a bigger bucket. Activision should have done this anyway. I just think the timing is perfect because you can put some more pressure during this deal that you may not have normally been able to exercise. So the group of playtesters at Raven Studios are basically forming a union, or they still got to vote on it. So, and if you know how voting for unions go across different states, it's going to be very difficult. The current group right now, located in Wisconsin, that's going to be a fight. And they need to get at least 50% of available workers there to agree to form the union body, and then they'll be able to go into collective bargaining with Raven Studios, ergo Activision, to make this happen. I know I just threw a lot of terms at you, but basically it's close, and it sounds like the support to have it happen is there. And if this does happen, it would also be the first gaming labor union we've ever had. It might spell a lot of success for other unions that have been trying to form, some at Ubisoft and various studios across the U.S. Across North America, because particularly gaming studios like Montreal is like another gaming mecca and programming hub as well. So like it's North America. This would be really huge. Playtesters, playtesters are the backbone of your user experience. I'm not saying it doesn't exist in the design of the game and how the people are putting together the graphics and the concept art and how it's actually programmed. But your playtesters are definitely the ones that are saying this should not go out the door. This is bad. This is not working. And you might be wondering, like, take a game like Cyberpunk, where clearly it's like that probably should needed some more time to bake. I'm not blaming the playtesters in that example. The playtesters probably told them, and they were ignored. So also this profession is doing a lot of great work, putting a lot of good information and data out to the company, and promptly being ignored, so they can still push out the thing by the time the release date they said. And hey, we'll patch it later based on your notes. So to be clear, if you're like, if you're going to memory in your brain of like, but this game wasn't good, stop that. I highly doubt it's the playtesters' fault. They get a lot of time and access with these games in the same way that sometimes I get a lot of time to review a game. They're probably not the ones causing this issue. It's probably their higher ups that say we got money to make and it needs to be out by a certain time to make sure it hits. So again, that's probably the company's fault. I'm really excited. We'll check out the review. I'll put a link into the comments because I think it's really worth it. It's a really good read. And the interviewer talks to more than just playtesters at Raven Studios. They talk to a variety of playtesters across the U.S. at different gaming companies. So it's a really good read. I recommend you check it out. And thank you to Taryn Bell for pulling that article for us, as they've done a great job throughout the rest of the week pulling information for us. So they do a wonderful job of that every week, and I just want to make sure they should always get recognition for that, especially in an article that good. That was a really good find. Cool. That's it for our main topics, and that's basically it for the show. But stay with me for a second. I just want to talk about things that are coming up this week. I already talked about movies and TVs. That's coming out. Our movie and TV podcast show. I will save the title for tomorrow when that comes out. I'll be up tonight talking about it. Oh, and I see we got some comments, so I will get to that. I'll get you all in just a second. I'll save the name for that tomorrow. Hey, if you like State of Nerd Union, we got more episodes coming out this week because there's a lot of news. And we're trying to also just do better about putting content out on a daily and a regular basis. So this is sort of a challenge to myself and the team to just keep putting content out because we know that gets more eyes on our site, helps other folks learn about us and hopefully support what we're doing here as far as the news and reporting that we're doing and the topics we want to talk about. So the more we can get out, I definitely know they can help support the site better and hopefully get us to some of the other essays, movie essays, and things we want to talk about. So those will not be live. So those will be pre-recorded. You'll see them drop on the channel roughly around 6:30, 7 p.m. No guarantees on that. We got to edit it, so no guarantees on that. But generally, you'll see those release Tuesday through Thursday, just pre-recorded episodes of State of the Union. It's covering in a similar format like this, just to let you know what's happened during the day. Taryn's still going to be doing Friday during the day rundown. So definitely look for anything else that you missed during the week to happen during the rundown episode on Fridays. And I'll take some questions real quick. I think I saw some comments. A nice cup of tea said, if your business model can't pay a living wage for a full-time job, your business model has failed. Agreed. Totally agree. Oh man. Yeah. It shouldn't be that shouldn't be that difficult. But it really is. So I don't I don't get why it seems so obvious, but I guess not. Yeah. Let's see. Unionized. Ooh, fresh new colors. Yeah. I'm hoping y'all like the border. And the other thing, normally we really do like to put photos up. And I'll just be honest about the process that happens behind the scenes. I'm tired. No, but seriously, sometimes it's been a long weekend. The weekend would be the best time for us to try to get the Monday show ready to go. Sometimes I can't do it. I might be having I'm also taking some classes. So you're legit might be a little exhausted from the weekend. So you run into Monday, you're trying to do your first day at work during the week and trying to get this ready. So notes and getting our show together, you might be running right to the last minute. And trying to get the right credited photos that will fit the right size for the screen has been a challenge, especially in that crunch, in that small time window of trying to finish the notes for the show. So really, if you've seen us not put the photos up, I'd really rather us not put photos and make sure we get a better one later than try to put a little tiny one up and squeezes me and Steve's head down. You can barely see us talking about it. Now we got this weird photo and we're just like, let's stop it. So again, I'm hoping you're enjoying the look of this a lot better. Hope you, yeah. And it seems like people are, because people are staying tuned into the video a lot longer. So I appreciate it, especially our folks that have been with us for a long time, like Taryn, nice cup of tea, Shelby, others that has been pretty regular watching us. I appreciate that. So hope you like it. We got any other last comments, questions? You are a real person with a real life. How dare? Yeah. And then we found some other pixelated kind of backgrounds. Taryn's got one for their rundown, although we couldn't get it to work this past week. So I'm still working some graphics and templates behind the scenes. We'll hopefully get that figured out, why that wasn't working. I really liked it. It's kind of like a 16-bit cityscape. We might borrow it here in some of these. Maybe we'll let Taryn use this like bright Sun Miami theme, 16-bit Miami theme too. So yeah, just trying to do some stuff. Yep. Taryn, get your own border. All right. So this week's throwback. I thought I already had this game. I do have it on PlayStation, but I thought I'd already picked this up. I was getting ready to sell it, and I kept looking at it, and I'm like, do I have that? I don't know. Do I have that game? I'm glad I double checked, because I did not. And this isn't even necessarily like a big game, but since I talk about game preservation all the time, I'm glad this game got an update, or these series of games, this trilogy of games got an update. And it might not be what you're expecting, but it is a platformer. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. And it has the first 3 Spyro games that came out on the PlayStation 1. So these have been vastly updated. So that's Spyro the Dragon, Spyro Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. They also got a really big graphical update too. Because as much as I love the PlayStation 1, there's some things that ain't aged well on it. And just to be honest, I like the PlayStation 1. There's some things that just didn't age well on it. It's just the truth. And PS2 to some degree also didn't. But PlayStation 2 games generally do a lot better. Like I'd rather play, and this might be controversial, but at least gameplay wise, I'd rather play like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X, even the remastered and HD ones on the PS3 or PS4 or on the PS2, as opposed to playing like Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. Still a solid game construction wise, but graphically, it's gotten dated. So I know. You were like, he's a retro gamer. How dare you say that? I'm like, and I'll still, even as I say that, I'm saying I'll still go play it. I'm just talking about what I would prefer. Okay. All right, everyone, simmer down. So that's my throwback for the week. We don't have we did have a nerd moment. I'll throw that into the comments for folks to go check out. And I think that's all. I got. So if you got any last minute comments, if I don't see them after the show logs off, I'll definitely try to comment on them later. So this has been State of Nerd Union. Thank you for joining me. I'm Commander Ship, and I will see you all throughout the rest of the week. Really looking forward to it, and talk to you later.